Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with the fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. For the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with the fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Caged Bird is a poem written by the author Maya Angelou in 1969. Maya Angelou's birth name is Margaret Annie Johnson, and she was born on April 4th, 1929 in St. Louis. She became memorable when she released her book I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings in 1969. The novel was the first time an autobiography by an African American woman was the bestseller in the United States. The poem speaks on the state of the free bird and caged bird and contains 193 words, 48 lines, and 6 stanzas. Maya decided to write this poem as she wanted to shed light on the struggles faced by African Americans. She uses the reference to the caged bird and free bird as symbols to discuss the freedom the white individuals had compared to the restrictions placed on the black individuals during her time. She wrote this poem in order to gain awareness on the treatment African Americans received. The cage refers to the racism and discrimination she faced as well as the restriction placed on them. Even though she wrote poems, her message was not heard around the world, similar to how the caged bird singing was only heard to distant hills. The poem tone starts off as positive, peaceful, and happy as she discusses the life of the free bird. The tone then changes to show frustration and captivity in the second stanza when describing the caged bird. The author writes, "The trade winds soft through the sighing trees." This is an example of personification. This is because the trees are given a human characteristic, which is sighing. The author uses this in order to create a sad mood in the poem to show the caged bird's feelings. When the author writes, "The caged bird sings with a fearful trill." This is an example of irony, as the caged bird is the one that sings, whereas the free bird does not. Fearful and trill in the poem helps the reader to see that the bird is singing for help as it wants freedom and not in happiness. In the poem, it says, "His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream." The shadow is a reference to the frustration the caged bird has as it does not have a voice, similar to how the shadow does not have one. The last stanza of the poem reads, "Stand on the grave of dreams," which shows the life of the caged bird and is also how Maya felt growing up. Maya felt that people were not reading her poems. She loved to write poems, but felt that the racism and discrimination that the African Americans faced affected her from becoming successful. This poem can also be used to make connections to the inequality in society. Human Rights Watch had posted an article talking about women in Saudi Arabia. Just starting 3 months ago, women in Saudi Arabia were able to get their licenses. They will also be able to attend sporting events starting in October. The caged bird from the poem is a representation of the women in Saudi Arabia. This is because they had no freedom, similar to the caged bird, while the men enjoyed life just like the free bird. Women must still get permission from their male partner. This includes a husband, father, or even son in order to do majority of the things they want. These include traveling, getting a passport, or even leaving prison. Saudi Arabia believes that women are not mentally and physically capable of making decisions, therefore need a male to make it for them. This is something that is not only taking place in Saudi Arabia, but many other places around the world. Saudi Arabia's religious authorities are afraid that if they gave men and women equal rights, they would lose their power, as they are the reason why women don't have rights. In the novel The Wars by Timothy Finley, many people found it hard to adapt to change, which is similar how the religious authority feel in Saudi Arabia. Not being able to adapt to change can affect a person's mental health, which is seen in the novel. When women began protesting in Saudi Arabia, the religious authority did not like it and became worried. If people stopped listening to the religious authority, they would lose their power. Additionally, the feminist theory learned in this course speaks on themes of gender relation and equality. The treatment these women receive is wrong. Men and women should both get the same rights and be treated equally. Women are able to achieve great things and succeed, which is proven by previous events. People such as Mala, Harriet Tubman, and much more. Another theory learned in this course was the queer theory. The queer theory looks at questions and criticizes the role of gender identity and sexuality. Living in Canada is wonderful as we accept all no matter what they identify as, but this is not the case everywhere around the world. Many people in different countries around the world feel like the cage bird. They are not able to have freedom like others or even have choices because of who they identify as. Overall, everyone should be treated equally and be able to do what they wish. Not allowing someone to do certain things because of their gender is wrong. Everyone should be able to do what they wish and live life how they want.